Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang Mulia Pengeran Hajat Jeti Sufina, Pengeran Dato Paduka Haji Sani, Permanent Secretary, Industry, Ministry of Finance and Economy. Yang Mulia Javed Ahmad, Chief Executive Officer, Darussalam Enterprise. Representatives of the ASEAN Coordinating Committee on Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, fellow colleagues from ASEAN and the Republic of Korea, esteemed panelists and participants, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. It is an honor to give this keynote speech at the ASEAN ROK Startup Festival, hosted by Brunei Darussalam as part of the activities under Brunei ASEAN Chairmanship 2021. As we are all aware, the global economy is in a transition phase, where the influence of technology has long been building up momentum, and the emergence of the global pandemic only advanced this influence even further. This trend gives impetus to the growing influence of startups. Before the pandemic, startups were already showing signs of a new economic paradigm and a trend that cannot be ignored, where relatively small businesses were able to grow faster through a combination of sheer creativity, a flexible and fast approach to decision making, and the ingenuity to utilize technology, which has led to more startups challenging larger companies successfully for market share. This updated model of a new engine for economic growth is especially appealing for the new generation of innovators, entrepreneurs, and job seekers. Startup firms will scale into large companies in their own right, or provide innovation in larger companies. In 2018, it was reported that at least 5,800 active startups were operating across all major verticals in the ASEAN region, including e-commerce, fintech, enterprise solution, big data, and consumer goods and services. Startups providing new products and services are growing from strength to strength across the region. Since 2012, Southeast Asia has given rise to more than 10 unicorns with a combined market value of over $34 billion. Over the past 10 years, the total capital investment per annum has increased more than 50 times, with more than 10 mega deals of over $100 million each to close out in 2020. And over the past year, the startup industry has received capital inflow of more than $6 billion, with fintech, food and logistics sectors drawing the most attention. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are all aware that the peoples of the ASEAN member countries and the Republic of Korea are a vibrant generation bursting with great ideas. This is the very reason that gave way to this initiative. The potential for us to work together and nurture great ideas from creative minds is the bedrock of the vision we have set to build an ASEAN ROK startup economic community as a driving force in the global economy. To ensure we have a chance to achieve this, we must create a cooperative startup cluster oriented towards ASEAN and the Republic of Korea. There are three key strategies aimed to facilitate this cooperation. First, education and exchange. Second, policy and regulatory improvements. And third, investment and mutual growth. Firstly, by prioritizing education and information exchange, as well as aiming to establish and operate an integrated online platform to enable information exchange, networking, and investment between startups, we can provide a steady foundation for a healthy and nurturing environment for our startups. I believe this cultivation and idea sharing environment will provide ample support and motivation for many to transform their vision from being fresh ideas on paper to thriving enterprises. Secondly, we aim to provide support to our future startups through our action plans in improving policies and regulations to pave a clearer road to success. This is where cooperation between ASEAN member states and the Republic of Korea as policymakers is most crucial. We must work together to make sure this startup cluster continues to flourish by continuously conducting joint research on improving startup policies, instilling cooperation policy on startup ecosystem, policy planning, and sharing sandbox contents from each country to ensure effective regulatory response that would benefit us all. For our startups to benefit, we need to begin talks of sharing skill resources, strengthening trade agreements, improving startup visas, and facilitating an investment support system that would allow for ease of venture capital investment. And thirdly, we aim to strengthen the ecosystem through investments and mutual growth, where we acknowledge that funding is also a key component. Investments in terms of capacity building and monetary are crucial to a startup, not just to start, but also to expand. An establishment of an ASEAN ROK joint investment fund and joint accelerators could provide an enormous boost for startups to scale up. Not only that, it could also further motivate innovation. It is exciting to think of the many possibilities and areas of collaboration we can venture on together. I would like to take this opportunity to thank and applaud the Republic of Korea for initiating the ASEAN ROK Startup Ecosystem Study. The study has enabled ASEAN member states and the Republic of Korea to work together and gather information about the startup ecosystem of each country, identify gaps, and begin to work on the solutions to close those gaps. This festival is only a first step. Let's continue to work together to ensure the future of startups in ASEAN and the Republic of Korea remains bright and hopefully decorated with fireworks too. With that, and in the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful, I open the ASEAN ROK Startup Festival. I wish you all productive and fruitful discussions and look forward to great things ahead, fueled by the passion of startups. Sekian, wabillahi taufik wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.